What's up, everybody? This is Brody from Brody's Garage. Today is Friday, May 15th, 2026. This is Brody's Garage, episode 2.5. How's it going, everybody? This is Brody. It's good to be back. It's been about a month since the last episode, and there hasn't been much to talk about, so I try to wait until there is something significant in my journey. Well, today there's something significant. Today might have been the last day that I saw my old 67 Nova project. I sold the suspension to a guy here in town, and that being said, the body kind of went with it. The body is still for sale. It's currently over at his shop, and if we don't find a buyer for that body, I don't know. I may just get rid of it. But today we loaded up on the trailer, hauled it over to his shop, unloaded it, and I had this sudden pit in my stomach feeling that this might be it. This might be the last time I see this thing. It was a little weird, even pulling it out in the light today, just seeing the paint on the car when it's been sitting in here in the interior for quite some time. As soon as you get that thing out in the sun, it's like, oh man, I actually did a pretty good paint job on that thing. Anyway, that being said, this is the beginning of a new chapter. And I just came back from Grand Junction, Colorado, where I picked up a 1966 Chevy 2 Nova, and it's right there. And I'm going to take you in for a closer look. All right, everybody, this is a first look at Brody's Garage 2.0, the next chapter. I just got this car back. Been kind of chatting with this guy for months now. And after several other setbacks with different guys, I finally went back to this guy and said, you know what, let's just do this. Let's wrap this up. Let's take a look at this car here. First of all, this is a 66 Chevy 2 Nova. Right there. And it's got a 66 VIN and title, which getting a guy with a clean title is half the battle, honestly, as I found out. This car comes with a aftermarket Heights front suspension clip here. And there are the inner fender panels, which are a little bit rusty. It also came with two aftermarket quarter panels, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But this front end I will not be using. So if any of you out there with a Chevy 2 62 to 67 Nova are interested, let's talk. Let's make a deal. I'll sell it to you for a reasonable price, okay? It looks like it's going to need some new bushings, the front end. And I don't know about the ball joints. Obviously, the wheels are sitting kind of cockeyed, so it was never aligned. But there is looks like a manual steering rack on there. Cross member. I just noticed I don't actually see any engine mounts mounted to this chassis, so that's interesting. So I guess you'd have to come up with your own brackets. But it's got coilovers, and, well, it doesn't even have shocks. It doesn't even have any shocks. It has, just the shock bars in there, but no actual shocks. Well, anyway, I'll let it go for a reasonable price. There's also a steering column, which I'll probably let go. And these wheels I don't care about. So there's the front end. The car has been sandblasted down to bare metal, which is a nice touch because nothing's hiding. You can see exactly what needs to be done. And there are a number of things that need to be done. But for the most part, it's a solid, basic exterior. The rockers, from what I can tell, look good. The doors are actually not too bad. There are some dents in the doors, but excuse me while I set this down. But actually the doors latch pretty good, and they've got a really nice door to quarter panel and door to rocker panel gap, which is a nice plus. Now, where we get into trouble is these quarters are rusted out all the way through on the back. We've got some rust spots there on the wheel well. And then, of course, for me, I'm not going to be using these side molding holes, so I would have to weld all of these holes up anyway. So that's a lot of work. And I'd either have to patch this or replace this quarter panel. Before I get to where my conclusion is, I'll show you the other side, which is actually a little bit worse. We've got a little bit of rust and rot down here in the wheel channel, but not much. Honestly, I don't know that this is going to need metal replacement. Maybe just a layer of metal fill in there will do the trick. The trunk lid is in so-so shape. But first of all, let's talk about these pans. The trunk pans are actually quite good. I don't really see, there's just a little bit of surface rust up here, but nothing really rotted all the way through in the trunk. So these are actually pretty good. And we'll be talking about the wheel tubs in a moment. But the trunk lid, unfortunately, somebody did some old style drilling and pulling here, it looks like, and plugged these with Bondo. So this trunk lid, you know, we'll have to see. I'll have to decide if I'm going to try to fix this, weld those up, or I kept my old trunk lid right there. So, you know, we'll see. I also kept my doors, and I kept my front fenders and hood off the old car. Oh, by the way, this car also came with a brand new 2-inch steel cowl induction hood, which I've already got one, and mine's already got the vents welded in and all that stuff. And the other thing I like about mine is mine has the recessed underside of the cowl, whereas this one has the round brace in the middle. Well, anyway, we'll see. But it's good that it came with that. The floorboards, we got some problems here, Lucy. Somebody cut out a giant chunk out of that tunnel there. And also somebody cut a little square panel out of there, who knows why, if that was rust repair or who knows what. There's another one there, probably for a shifter cable, but not a huge deal. I'm gonna end up modifying the tunnel anyway, so I can probably fabricate something for that. It looks like it had a stick shift. This steering column will probably go because I'm getting a new one, but the dash looks pretty good. You'll also notice that all around the car are these little dots, these stick-on dots. The previous owner, it looks like he started or maybe finished doing a 3D scan of the car, and that was not part of our transaction, but I'm planning on doing my own 3D scan anyway. But the roof looks okay. This quarter panel you saw the trunk lid. Oh, and by the way, there is some rot around the taillight housing there. The worst of it is right here. We got a really, really rotted out quarter panel. It actually goes all the way through to the inside, as you can see there. It's just paper thin. So the question is, do we replace the entire quarter or just try to patch it? Well, I'm sure there are pros and cons to both, but we got rust in several spots. There's even a little tiny bit at that corner there, some there around the wheel well, and of course the back here. For me, I think what I would like to do, and this is just a preliminary thought, I want to keep as much of this original metal as possible and only replace what I have to. But that being said, since I have to fill all these holes anyway, and we've got to fix the rod around there in the bottom, I think what I would probably do, since this gap is so good here, I don't want to go into the jam. I'll probably mark off like a 1-inch or maybe larger border around this entire thing and cut out everything probably up to here. You know, but leave about 1-inch border here and just cut that to fit and butt weld it in there and, you know, polish it, grind it down smooth and keep the outer structure of this because I don't want to mess up these gaps here at the trunk, which are good. I don't want to be messing with this. I don't want to be messing with the sail panel. There's really no need to. So that is my initial thought. Continuing on, the car had a little bit of chrome trim, but I don't know that it's salvageable. It might be. There is a little bit of window glass and one vent window. No driver's side vent window. But once again, nice door gap. And on the bottom, and the rockers look good. I'm gonna get this thing on the lift and see if I can get it up in the air. Okay, I just caught this in the light. I did notice that there is a little bit of denting going here on the roof. Right there, you can see that little crease there. It's not a huge deal, but nonetheless, something that needs to be addressed. Maybe somebody stepped on the roof, I don't know. But let's look at the car from the top and let's get it up on the lift. Now then, the underside of the car, let's take a look. We are both seeing this together for the first time. Okay, once again, this is that front suspension, which needs bushings badly. But Looks like it's all there. Disc brakes, spindles, coilover shocks of some sort there, tubular A-arms, front frame, subframe. So yeah, this must go. Okay, once again, there is the giant cavernous hole in the tunnel, which we already talked about. Frame rails, not too bad actually. Rocker panels look pretty good. The floor pans look pretty decent. And I gotta say, what a treat to have this already sandblasted and be able to just kind of start from ground zero with it without having to wonder, oh, what's gonna be underneath this mess? So, all right, looks like you missed a spot up there. No big deal. Some grime. Ooh, no, I did just notice these holes in the frame rails. There's one on either side, and they go all the way through. And who knows what the hell they were doing there. Maybe they were gonna install some sort of a cross member or run something through it, but I don't know. Anyway, that will have to be addressed. Disc brakes in the back. Here's a 4 9-inch rear end, which I will not be using. So once again, make me an offer. But yeah, I would say the bulk of the metal in this car is in decent shape. Now then, take a look at this down here. This just came in yesterday. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes from Church Boys Racing. Now, I'm not going to open these up and show you what's inside. We're going to save that for the next episode. But this is, it looks like, part 1 of the rear suspension, and much more to come, as well as the front suspension and front modular subframe. That'll be coming hopefully within a few weeks. In the meantime, there's the car. This is our starting point. And quarter panels are the worst of it. The rest of the car, not too bad actually. So as I mentioned, this is a 66 Nova. I'm going to put my 67 front sheet metal on this because I just prefer the 67 over the 66. No offense. But I've got my front fenders over there. I've got my doors right there. I got my Pink Floyd picture on the wall. And I've got my trunk lid in the back corner there. So I still have those as options. Oh, and I've got my hood right here as well. So the plan is to dig into this and see exactly what I can keep on this car and then just replace what's needed. I've got my engine and transmission over there. I've got my turbo setup and intake there. Okay, so there you have it, a first look at the new project. I'm pretty excited about it, and I'm very anxious to kind of start digging in and really getting to work on this thing. As I mentioned, my first steps are going to be to get rid of this front end, and I'm going to start with the assembly of the rear suspension and the mini tubs. I'm going to try to stiffen the chassis and get it sort of all evened out and build it from the ground up. My goal is to take everything that I learned from my last project, including the process and the building and the suspension and the paint and body and everything, and ultimately my responsibility with that type of a car, and just do a better version of that all around. So I hope you'll follow along with me. Please subscribe if you haven't to this channel already, and I should be back with a new episode within a week or two. Until then, take care.